Seems to take about 5 seconds before it actually counts 1 second on the bottom of the screen. Well, hello and welcome to the JC LaLiga YouTube channel. Of course, we're going to discuss the Round 7 LaLiga. Now, those of you that follow me on Twitter will have seen that I already put up at least 5 Round 7 tips last Sunday night because we've had, 6 games now for each team. So, getting into a groove, there are patterns I'm working with, so it's quite straightforward picking the games, really. There are a few I've left out, and the Barcelona one, for example, against Las Palmas, we're going to leave that out of this video, rather, and do that, I know we said Periscope, and do that closer to the time, or probably on the day, on a Sunday. So we'll get started anyway. First game up is Celta Vigo against Girona. Now, Celta Vigo, of course, they have scored and conceded in a lot of the games, it's fair to say, with Celta Vigo. Last weekend that wasn't the case, so they won 4-0 away to Eibar, which was a surprising result. Eibar's a decent home team. You wouldn't expect them to ship so many goals. So with Girona, they lost to Barcelona 3-0 at home, and I'd said, look, either Barca to win 2-0 or Girona, or both teams to score no, because Girona hadn't scored in a few games. Obviously, they didn't score last weekend, so we're going to continue to follow the theme this weekend. Again, maybe Celta to win 2-0 if you want, but both teams to score no, and the current price in that is 1.925, and I tipped it at 1.93, so that's not seen much interest, but yeah, that's basically my opinion on that one. So moving on now, and again, I am covering the 5 tips that I put out on Twitter. First, over 2.5 goals in Real Sociedad versus Real Betis at 1.75, now 1.71 at best. And the reason behind this one is quite simple. Real Sociedad, every game they played over 2.5 goals in LaLiga. They also played tonight, a couple of hours before this video has been filmed, in the Europa League away to Zenit, and that went over 2.5 goals again. So Betis, of course, very impressive recently, won 1-0 away to Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and also Monday night, in fact, they thrashed Levante 4-0 with a stunning second half performance. It was really good to see. Score so many headers as well, so that's something you want to keep an eye on in this game this weekend. Betis to score a header. I mean, if you look on Sky Bet, they might be doing like whichever striker starts, Sergio Leon or Sanabria, to score a header. See if they are. I mean, it's something definitely worth requesting. It's something I'm going to look into. Haven't looked into it for the purposes of this video right now, but definitely Betis to score a lot of headers. So anyway, over 2.5 goals are picking that game. Again, not the best of prices, so I thought 1.75 is okay. If you want a bigger price, then do both teams to score and over 2.5 goals as one bet. Real Sociedad, yeah, they should win, but Betis is a good team, as we've seen. Real Sociedad played Europa. Maybe Betis can win. I hope so. I don't know. Well, that's my bet in that game, over 2.5 goals. Now, moving on, the next tip we gave is Deportivo against Getafe, over 2.5 goals at evens. Now, Deportivo, all bar one of their games has been over 2.5 goals. We're back to over 2.5 goals in their trip to Espanyol last weekend. They lost, 3-1, 4-1, something like that. So, and Getafe's been scoring goals recently, scored in the last 3 games, so we think Getafe can contribute. I mean, the fear is it's a 1-1, but, you know, over 2.5 goals at evens, and both teams to score, yes, is a lot shorter priced. So, all bar one of Depor games over, and Getafe scoring goals recently, so we think they'll both score, and therefore I think it's worth a dabble on the over 2.5 at even Stevens. Now, next tip we've got, and let's have a look now. Espanyol +3 Asian handicap at home to Real Madrid. Yep, Espanyol tend to lose to Real Madrid because beating them would do Barcelona a favour, if you like, in a title race. But the coach, Quique Sánchez-Flores, is obviously quite negative. He's a tactician. So we've seen him like a couple of weeks ago away to Villarreal last week. He'll play for a 0-0. So, yeah, Real Madrid will probably win, but Real Madrid's coming off a trip to Borussia Dortmund. At home in La Liga, Real Madrid are yet to win. So they've drawn 2-2 with Valencia, won 1-1 with drawn 2-2 with Valencia, drawn 1-0 with Levante, and then lost to Betis. So yeah, they absolutely need to win, but it's not the best preparation away to Dortmund midweek. And Espanyol will no doubt try and park the bus there. So +3 Asian handicap at 1.83. Seems like a good bet to me. That was a price on Sunday. Now that one is 1.73. So it's up to you. I think it's a bet worth chancing. Yeah, maybe Real Madrid could win 3-0, 4-0, but the timing, it makes this +3 a good bet, I think, and at least that's gone down a bit from 1.83 to 1.73. And next one is Valencia to beat Athletic Bilbao. Athletic Bilbao somewhat surprisingly lost tonight to some team I've never heard of, a Zoria or something like that. don't know ever from Slovakia, Slovenia. I was never going to pay any attention to that game. Somehow like that, God only knows. So Valencia, obviously a very good team at the moment, in brilliant form, as we've seen. Stunning. A really good game away to Real Sociedad last Sunday. Valencia won 3-2. Both teams had a player sent off, but Valencia were just brilliant on the counter-attack. Guedes, the on-loan player from PSG, is playing extremely well. Valencia are purring, they're great right now. So Valencia's undefeated. Athletic Bilbao not the best away team. Obviously lost 1-0 to Las Palmas, didn't it? And last weekend they killed us actually. It didn't cost us a bet, but we had, if you remember, Malaga had lost every game so far, only scored in one. So we had Athletic Bilbao drawn a bet, which looked like an absolute steal at 1.8 or 1.81, something like that. Athletic Bilbao 3-1 up and facing 10 men. Poor defending, I forget the lad's name. They need to spend some money on some better defenders. I'll get that under Kappa at least. 3-1 up, they managed to draw 3-3 Athletic Bilbao. So, last three away games, it's been they won 1-0 at Eibar, didn't they? They lost 1-0 at Las Palmas, and then they've drawn 3-3 at Malaga. So they played a Europa League game a few days before. They're the away team, and not the best away team. Valencia's undefeated, damn good team at the moment. Valencia to win at 1.95 was a tip last Sunday night. Price is now 1.93, so a very minimal movement. And that's it for the 5 tips that I put up on Twitter on Sunday night for round 7. I've had a look at the other games since then, and basically, if you want to bet on the other games, then this is what I'm thinking. So we've got Villarreal to beat Eibar at 1.85. Now, Villarreal not in good form, thrashed last week, surprisingly. And, the coach, Escriba's now gone. He wasn't a popular figure at the club. So, all of a sudden, I think these players will start trying a bit harder, and I think Villarreal should win that game. Not a 5-star pick, not one of the main tips, but it's a pick, and if you want to bet in this game, then my pick for you is Villarreal to win. Simple momentum change. Players will start trying hard. Now, Eibar not a bad team, so it's not impossible that Eibar gets a point or more. Of course, it's never impossible in any game, but you take my point. It's not unreasonable, it's not unfeasible, it's not unlikely. It's, you might argue it's unlikely, but it's up to you. But that looks like the pick for me. We bet on the momentum when it changes. Otherwise, Malaga away to Sevilla now. Of course, Sevilla played in the Champions League midweek at home to Maribor, comfortable win. Whereas Malaga obviously last weekend, as we know, we just said with Athletic Bilbao, they drew 3-3. So Malaga 2 goals down. New signing Diego Roland played well, bagged a couple of goals. So that'll be a great confidence boost for Malaga. They weren't playing terrible in any event, even though they lost 4-5-0 away to Valencia. They did all right in that game. It was Valencia's just so good at the moment. So Sevilla's played away in the Champions League. They're not generally winning by more than 1 or 2 most of the time. They've scored a few midweek, all right, Champions League, but in LaLiga we're talking. And Malaga's got a bit of increased confidence. So we're thinking Malaga plus 1.5 Asian handicap at 1.95 if you want to bet on that one. So otherwise we've got Atletico Madrid. They're playing away to who is it? Leganes, I think. Atletico played Champions League midweek, lost to Chelsea. I would say Atletico minus 0.75 if you're having a bet in this game. Again, not another standout pick, just a pick. So up to you. Playing after a Champions League game is probably not the best slot. Leganes won last weekend, didn't they? So surprisingly at Las Palmas, wasn't it? Yeah, we had Las Palmas. Only 2 losers last Saturday and Sunday, I think, over 2 days, and that was one of them. Now, so you just expect Atletico to win, wouldn't you? So the straight win's not a great price, so we say minus 0.75. The only other game is Levante against Alaves. So Levante, of course, destroyed by Betis. They are a good home team. Alaves, of course, hadn't scored prior to last weekend. That was my second losing bet from last Saturday, Sunday, which was Real Madrid to win to 0, or both teams to score no, whatever you could get a decent price on. So now Alaves has scored a goal. Didn't play that bad against Real Madrid. They missed a few chances, new signings. They did a bit better. What do we expect from them? It's difficult to say, isn't it? It's difficult to say. But you would expect Levante to beat Alaves. Maybe both teams to score and Levante to win, since Alaves have now scored a goal. But it was a bullet header, a very, very good goal. They hit the post actually a couple of other times, but there's nothing stand out. Levante's like 5-6 to win this game. When we bet on them, minus 0.25 against Depor, they drew 2-2. So looks like that Levante's sort of, if you can get some draw no bet cover on them at home, or away to a much bigger team, and certainly not Betis as I thought midweek, then worth looking at. But I don't know, I'm just not bothered with Levante at 5-6. We'll see, maybe in play. So that's absolutely it. Thank you very much for viewing the video. Again, I'll retweet the 5 main tips I put out on Twitter last Sunday again, and I'll mention the other ones that I've just mentioned on here with regards to the other games. So thank you for viewing the video. Good luck with your bets, and all the best.